Vervelend. Ik ben niet dood. Ja. Een likje samen. Ja.
Het wordt samen, samen, één samen.
Samen. We moeten samen.
Ja, samen. Een kusje.
Handjes wassen. Sam heeft net ook handjes gewassen.
Zo'n kleine vleesjes.
These arms have chosen a strange place to live. Little leg down there. Further down. Alright then, let's get going. Let's go. We are now 100 meters below the surface.
Nicole. Ik kan niet de camera zien.
Hoe heb je dat nou te... Blijf zitten, hè, Thomas?
Maar dat is helemaal niet, want je ziet de ogen en de tong.
Ja, dan weet je wat het hoofd is natuurlijk van de slang.
Ja.
Als je zijn ogen en zijn tong ziet.
Ja. Is dat aardappelpje in?
Nee, gewoon aardappels.
Je hebt er wel veel geschikt.
Ja, met pannetjes wat kleiner nu.
Oh, wat zit hierin?
Andijvie.
Ja. Bismillah, Shahin.
Dit is bij Thomas?
Ja. Misschien vind ik dat wel lekker.
Ik denk het wel. Als jij nou ondertussen even de McDonald's mayonaise pakt.
Oké.
Is de lepel te fout?
Ja.
Oh.
Wat is nog slaan maken? Wat zou lekker willen. Ik ga nog uit de mes en dan mes blijft storen.
Nou ja, dat moet ik jou maar geen mes meer geven dan.
Jawel, als ik het heel nodig heb. Maar wat ook alweer?
Andijvie.
Nou, lekker.
Lekker?
Alleen het ziet er niet zo uit als bij Thomas. Bij Thomas is het allemaal klein en bij hem nog groot.
Terwijl ik het bij jou doorgesneden heb, want bij Thomas niet. Hoe lang duurt het nog voor de rijst?
Wat? Dat is hier.
meteen.
Ja, ik zal komen.
Shocking.
Nee, de broodjes zijn niet voor
Ja,
jullie.
dat kan wel. Maar dat mag wel.
Jan sla. Toen McDonald's
Kijk daar.
moest betalen. Ze zei, lekker sla.
Doe maar happen, Thomas. Zo.
Ik ken een leuke. Ik lust wel kip, maar ik lust geen kip.
Kan wel.
Wat drie. Moet ik zijn?
Oké, bismillah, let's
Ja.
eat. Eten.
Ja.
Nu wil je eten, wat wil je drinken?
1 minuut later. Ik zal.
Brood eten?
Ja, hier. Met dit kleine beetje vlees. Is warm, warm. Warm, hè?
Ja.
Voorzichtig.
Ik kan nog wat leven. Wat is het? Wil je gas?
Blazen, hè?
Nee. Warmer, hè?
Heel warm.
Smaller. The frame is smaller.
It's okay.
Okay.
Everything is okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Thousands of years ago, God created Adam. And He created an Eve. And within those moments, God decided that I must represent myself in form of a man. And the legend says that he sat on a throne and he ordered everything just to happen.
Stop. Okay. What is this? Ruby?
This is a sculpture lot of times I just look at the wood and keep looking on it for days, for hours, for months, maybe sometimes a year. And then the wood tells me what I can look further into it. And then I get hold of my carving tools and I carve and I carve and I carve and I look and I observe. And then a small form emerges. Everything is from one piece. I found the lips, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrow, and then I make installations.
How can you get inspiration to make some art with wood, with sculpture?
I have to live with my piece of wood, sleep with it, eat with it, feel it, observe it. Sometimes I look for forms in the trees. Sometimes I look for forms in nature. That's why I travel too much. I've been around the world twice. Not by jets and $1 million voyage. I have surfaced the earth inch by inch. I've traveled to places under Alaska, near Hawaii, in the Gulf of Mexico, in far corners of China, to search for my own truth, my relationship with nature. And I'm very proud of that.
When you start to make with wood,
I started with chalk. When I was a small boy, I used to carve things with the chalks of the school, with knife. I always had a pocket knife with me. Then later on, when I started doing things seriously, I studied how to make ice carvings. And I traveled to Hong Kong to learn more about it. And then I started on wood, metal, electronic medias, all kinds of possibilities, because I was giving something back to a tribe called Kalash, from whom I had adopted a lot of my art. So I was conducting workshops with those people which had not carved for 40 years, because everything gets stolen into museums.
you start to make this sculpture in Pakistan?
I started in Pakistan, but then I have traveled more than 35 countries. My works are in more than 50 countries around the world. Mostly it is in exchange with artists. Wherever I travel, wherever I go, I make friends with artists and I give them part of my drawings, part of my paintings, part of my objects, and I give something in return. That's how I have collected works of art by more than 50 artists.
Which is artist for you the most or inspiration?
Well, I'm not fixed by just one artist. Every artist, every art movement I dealt and I studied separately, but I think the closest to my art, what I feel art, is the school of surrealism. Because it was a kind of a movement which was a collective effort of not just one artist, one sculptor, but writers, poets, thinkers, philosophers, people related to the field of art contributed towards it. So I also contributed a lot of things. Sometimes I take objects which has no value, but sometimes I make things which are difficult. I usually make installations out of material which I've been using for a long time. and my installations are my perceptions. I'm a very calculated artist. If I have to look after my children, I don't paint for months, but when I really paint, I like to paint 2 or 3 paintings a year and leave it somewhere. All these things which I'm putting on display are part of my art workshops that I did with the tribe. I taught people how to make sculptures, how to make carvings, how to paint. And then I did exhibitions in the valleys, not for some outsider, but for themselves. And the British ambassador and the Australian ambassadors were my guests in the Kailash valleys. It took me a very long time to get them from Pakistan here, because there were lots and lots of bureaucratic attitudes involved. I had to literally write hundreds of letters why I want these things in Holland. And every day was a new law. But I've lived with it.
Kailash is mainly inspiration for your work.
It's not only inspiration, but it's a spiritual way of life. It's an international asset.
How it comes to you?
It comes to me in form of my childhood. When I was small, Kailash were living in our family. And when I grew up, I went to meet them without telling anybody who I was, whom I knew. And then I realized how many problems they had. And then I gave up a lot of my life's comforts just to live with them. So since I was 22, whatever I have earned, I have given it to this tribe.
You feel comfortable in Kailash, with Kailash people?
I feel comfortable everywhere as long as I get 2 to 3 months a year to dedicate, to devote only to Kailash and to Inhemse Folken around the world. Because all these assets will slowly disappear right in front of your eyes, as I'm going to show you what's going to happen. This is how these things disappear. They go from one museum to another museum.